In 1492, a guy named Christopher Columbus was so bad at geography that he ended up discovering 2 entire continents by complete accident. He thought he was in Asia. He was off by about 9,000 miles, and he went to his grave still believing he was right. Most of the biggest discoveries in history weren't made by geniuses. They were made by people who were lost. Here are 10 accidents that changed the world. Number 10. Columbus and the New World. He sailed west hoping to reach India. He hit the Caribbean instead. 4 voyages across the ocean, and he died still convinced Cuba was part of China. 2 entire continents, named after a different explorer, because Columbus refused to admit he was wrong. Number 9. The Pacific Ocean. In 1513, a Spanish explorer named Balboa was chasing rumors of gold in Panama. He crossed the mountains expecting riches. What he found was a massive, endless ocean nobody in Europe had ever seen from that direction. That one moment rewrote the entire map of Earth. Number 8. Brazil. In 1500, a Portuguese captain set sail for India. His fleet drifted way too far west. When they finally hit land, they were somewhere nobody expected, the coast of what's now Brazil. Portugal claimed half of South America because one captain couldn't steer straight. Number 7. Magellan's Strait. Ferdinand Magellan wanted to reach the Spice Islands by sailing west. Everyone said it was impossible. In 1520, he found a narrow, dangerous passage at the tip of South America. Only 3 of his 5 ships made it. Magellan himself died on the voyage and never saw it finished. But that strait still carries his name today. Here's a question that might hit you. How many places on the map right now might still be wrong? Number 6. Hawaii. Captain James Cook was sailing the Pacific on a scientific mission in 1778 when he stumbled into a chain of islands nobody in Europe had ever mapped. Hawaii. He returned the next year. That time, he didn't leave alive. He was killed by locals. But Hawaii was on every map by the time news reached home. Number 5. Antarctica. Ancient Greeks and medieval mapmakers believed a giant southern continent existed. They drew it on maps based on pure theory. In 1820, seal hunters and Russian sailors finally saw it for real. A frozen, brutal, white continent at the bottom of the world. The last unmapped landmass on Earth, confirmed only 200 years ago. Number 4. California. For over 150 years, European maps clearly showed California as an island, not a peninsula, an island. The error came from one bad report in the 1600s. Mapmakers copied each other for generations. Explorers literally sailed expecting to find water all the way around California. One careless assumption fooled the world for 150 years. Number 3. How we learned to navigate the ocean. For most of history, sailors had no way to know exactly where they were at sea. Entire fleets were lost because of this one gap. It wasn't solved by a scientist in a lab. It was solved by a self-taught carpenter named John Harrison, who spent 40 years of his life building a clock that could keep perfect time on a moving ship. Number 2. The ocean floor. Up until the 20th century, nobody had any real idea what the bottom of the ocean actually looked like. Then, during World War I and II, militaries developed sonar to detect enemy submarines. When scientists pointed it downward instead, they discovered massive underwater mountains and trenches deeper than the Grand Canyon. Today, we know more about the surface of Mars than our own ocean floor. Number 1. GPS, the thing you use every day. When the U.S. military first launched GPS satellites in the 1970s, engineers noticed the clocks on the satellites were drifting. Just a few microseconds, but enough to throw off positioning by miles. Turns out, Albert Einstein had predicted this exact problem decades earlier. Time literally moves differently in space. Every time you open Google Maps, you're proving Einstein's theory of relativity. By accident. So here's the lesson. The world we know today didn't come from people who had all the answers. It came from people who were wrong, who drifted off course, who built things for war and found something beautiful, Which makes me wonder, what's happening right now that we'll only understand 100 years from now? If you enjoyed this, hit subscribe and drop a comment. Which of these accidents blew your mind the most? I'll see you in the next one.